Alright, so we are looking at AKS A4, which talks about equivalent ratio tables. So remember, the word equivalent means equal or the same. So when we talk about equivalent ratios, we want to find ratios that will equal the same thing. And really, equivalent ratios is very similar to equivalent fractions. It's the same process. Alright, so let's look at the first table. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is find a ratio in the table. So the 4 to 24 is the only ratio I see because everything else has a blank. Okay, so what I want to do is make sure that this 4 to 24 is in simplest form. So to do that, I need to simplify this. Okay, so I'm thinking about factors that can go into 4 and 24. And the greatest common factor they share is 4. So I will divide the top and bottom by 4. And that's going to give me 1 to 6. Okay? So 1 to 6, that's my simplest form of this ratio for this table. So I'm going to use that to help me fill in the rest of my table. Okay? So if I have 1 to 6, and then I also have 18, I'm going to match it up. So if the 6 is on the bottom and this 18 is on the bottom, that's where I'm going to put it. I don't know what's right there. So now I need to think about, how do I go from 6 to 18? Well, I multiply by 3. 6 times 3 is 18. If I multiply by 3 on the bottom, I need to do the same thing on the top. So 1 times 3 is 3. So this missing part right here is a 3. Okay? And now I'm going to do the same thing for the next section. I have 1 to 6. That's always what I'm going to start with. I have 60 on the bottom. And I don't know what goes up there. So I'm thinking of this relationship. How do I go from 6 to 60? I multiply by 10. If I do it on the bottom, I have to do it on the top. 1 times 10 is 10, so this blank becomes a 10. Okay? And then last one, again, start with 1 to 6. This time, I'm dealing with a 5, and the 5 is on top, so I'm going to keep it on top. Alright, and to go from 1 to 5, I multiply by 5. So I need to do the same thing on the bottom. 6 times 5 is 30. Okay? So these are all equivalent ratios to 1 to 6. If I simplified all of these ratios down, I would still get 1 to 6. Alright, let's look at the next example. Here's my ratio, 1 to 5, and that's already in simplest form for me. So I can just go ahead and figure out the rest of them. So I have 1 to 5, and then I have a 9 on top. I'm not sure what goes down there. So to go from 1 to 9, I multiply by 9. So I need to do the same thing on the bottom. So 5 times 9 is 45. Alright, the next one, I start with 1 to 5. I have a 50 on the bottom. I don't know what's on top. To go from 5 to 50, I multiply by 10, multiply by 10, so my blank is 10. And then last one, I have an 8 on top. To go from 1 to 8, I have to multiply by 8, so I need to do the same thing on the bottom, so 5 times 8 is 40. Alright?